Hello ladies, so basically I'm just going to film a few garden workouts that you can do in your garden, living room, etc. All of the kit that we're going to use is something that's going to be accessible to everyone. There's a few variations, so for example there's a movement here that's got like a rucksack full of sand, but you could just fill up some water bottles and chuck those in. Same, we've got like one movement with a band. If you haven't got a band, they're like $4.99 online, which is pretty decent. But you can also just use like a belt or basically anything that's long. You can even use a towel if you wanted to. So workout number 1 is going to be a 20-minute EMOM. Okay, so EMOM just stands for every minute on the minute. The reason we're doing that format for this workout is that the 20-minute time frame is something that's a little bit longer, so that'll build your endurance. But in terms of the time frame within each minute, you'll be doing like a high intensity sprint followed by a bit of rest. Okay, and that translates to being in the water. As you sprint for a wave, then you sit around waiting for a wave. Okay, so the time frame is going to kind of essentially correlate what you're doing in the water. The movements that we're doing are predominantly kind of shoulder and lat focused, which is going to be great for building up paddle endurance. There's a little bit of explosive power in the down ups, a little bit of core in the flutter kicks. Okay, so we're just doing, this is kind of like an all body thing, but with a bit of predominant focus in the upper body. Every time opposed to workout, we'll be looking at like slightly different time frames, slightly different body parts, but all very surf related. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to film a demonstration of each movement. And then the general setup of the workout is that it's 20 minutes. So you go 1 through to 5, you go back to 1, and you loop through that 4 times.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
So key thing with this one is keeping your butt nice and tense, your hamstrings as well. Try and squeeze your legs together just as you would on a surfboard. Keep your head nice and neutral and just lift that torso up off the ground. To make this harder, you can find yourself some bricks, some baked bean cans, some stones, whatever you've got floating around. Exactly the same movement. And that's going to be between 30 and 40 seconds. So if you find it harder, go for less seconds. If you're finding it a little bit easier or you're just a ninja, then go for the higher seconds.
Ready.
Number 2 is going to be between 12 and 20, sandbag or bottled water filled, chuck anything in a bag basically, bent over row. Again, on the rep scheme, it depends how heavy your bag is, anywhere between 12 and 20. Key things on this is that the knees are bent, the back's nice and flat, and the head's nice and neutral as well. All you're going to do is squeeze your elbows into your body, pull the bag up, and then back down. Okay, so next one we've got is a down up, so it's just a burpee without a jump. Reason for this one is it's super explosive and it mimics your pop-up movement as well. So this one's going to be anywhere between 5 and 12 reps. Again, if you're pretty ninja, try and hit 12 every time. Just scale it down as appropriate so that you can sustain it over the 20 minutes. So the down up's just going to be chest to floor, feet touch, stand up straight. To make that easier, just step back into a press up position. You can just stand up from there. If you're somewhere in between both of those, step back, do a press up, step back in. And again, you can lower your knees to the ground as well if you just want to put in a little bit of a regression there. Cool, so next one, this is a core exercise. We're just going to do between 30 and 40 seconds of a flutter kick. So top end of this one is to get into a hollow position. So the bottom of the back's engaged with the ground. From here, you're just going to flutter the legs. If you want to make that easier, take your hands, put them under the lower of your, or your butt basically, and flutter the legs there. If that's still too much, you can just take your head back onto the floor. You can do one leg at a time. Just make sure that you make the time even on both sides. So last movement is our 20 banded pull aparts. So if you've got a band, these are epic. Definitely worth getting one. Like I said, like $4.99 on Tinterweb. If not, belt, towel, anything you've got. So if you've got a band, you're just going to take a grip where you can keep your arms straight and locked out. From here, all you're going to do is keep the arms completely straight, pull the band apart, draw it back in. If you've not got a band, just take a belt or a towel or whatever. Again, just take the arms nice and straight, and all you're going to do is draw the shoulder blades back and down, and you're just going to actively resist. Okay, so in this position, I'm pulling really hard against whatever I'm holding. That again is still going to engage your lats and build up that shoulder strength. Workout done.